Ornstein basically confirmed that McTominay, a bid has been accepted for him from Napoli for around 30 million euros, plus add-ons, plus a future sell-on fee. And to this, I say about damn time. I think McTominay, while he has been a good servant for the club and he's had big moments for us and he saved us at times with his goals, obviously from the academy, has been with us since the age of 5. Good guy to have around the dressing room. It's about damn time, in my opinion. Honestly, I think McTominay massively outlasted his stay. Raf is saying ruthless. Bro, I don't think players like McTominay and players like Lindelof, we've been ruthless enough. I think that's the issue here. We haven't been ruthless enough. The fact that these guys are leaving on like the last year of their deals for a disgraceful fee. Let's be real. When I see the players that are going around in the Premier League these days, I'm seeing Vandenberg go from Liverpool to Brentford. He's never played for Liverpool's first team. He's going for like 25 mil plus. And McTominay, who is a Premier League regular, an international, has scored goals in this league. We can barely get anything for him because we basically let him run down his deal to the last year. That's the opposite of ruthless for me. Honestly, I think he's outlasted. He's outlasted his welcome, to be honest with you. I think he'll do well for Conte at Napoli, right? I think the pace of the league will suit him. I think the style that Conte wants to play will potentially suit him. It actually looks too like they could be reuniting him with his Scottish teammate Billy Gilmore, which is going to be hilarious. Two Scottish midfielders for Napoli playing together, and then you have Terence Ferguson, or is it whatever his name is, Lewis Ferguson, playing for Bologna. You got 3 Scottish midfielders playing in the Serie A. That's hilarious to me. But yeah, look, I think it was time for McTominay to leave, man. And you take what you can get for him at this point. But I really feel like we're actually getting not ripped off because it's our own fault for keeping him this long. But 30 million euros for McTominay, I think it's a little disappointing. I would have liked to get more. What does this mean for United? It means that Erik ten Hag's favorite plan B off the bench is no more. He's going to have to find somebody new to bring off the bench and save his ass sometimes. Let's see on that. Who can he kind of go to from now on? And it means that the Manuel Ugarte deal is probably all but complete. Now, I've kind of held off talking about Manuel Ugarte, if you've noticed. I haven't made a video on him. I've been waiting for this here we go, to be honest with you. I've been waiting to kind of see how it transpires. But I guess I can give you guys my thoughts on Manuel Ugarte now. Now, Ugarte is a player that at Sporting really made his name, had that performance against Arsenal where I think the mainstream really kind of got a view of him for the first time. He was pretty good at Sporting, and he was linked to Chelsea the summer that he ended up moving. That move didn't kind of transpire and ended up at PSG instead, one of Luis Enrique's first signings for the club. And he came into a stacked midfield, right? You had Fabian Ruiz, you had Carlos Soler, you had Vitinha, you had Danilo Pereira. Am I missing anybody else? You had obviously Warren Zaire-Emery. It's a stacked midfield, but Ugarte was kind of expected to come in and be the linchpin for those guys to play off of him. And he played a bit in the beginning, and I just don't think it ever got started for him, man, right? I've been very critical of people who try and rewrite Matthias de Ligt's time at Juventus and at Bayern. Like, people act like he was a scrub at those clubs. I think that's revisionism. But I'm also not seeing people say, oh, Ugarte wasn't as bad as people are saying at PSG. Ugarte never got going at PSG, bro. Let's call it what it is. Ugarte at PSG was a flop. He flopped at PSG. The Champions League cameos in particular, when he featured against Newcastle, when he featured against AC Milan in the group stage, because let's be real, he didn't feature much after that. He was a calamity. The pace of the games were too much for him. The tempo that PSG were trying to play was too much for him. It was a complete misfit at PSG. And it's no surprise why they're trying to get rid of him after only a year. Now, how they are going to be able to get almost exactly what they paid for him back after a year? I'm sorry, I've been very, very praising of INEOS since they've come in. I think the business that they've done has been really smart. I don't think they've really overpaid for any player in particular. I think the value they got Xerxes for, good value. Mazraoui, I think, is going to end up being one of the bargains of the season. De Ligt, a player of that experience for that price, good signing. But Ugarte, if they end up spending 51 million pounds, whether it's now or a loan with an obligation, which in my opinion might even be worse, you're basically giving PSG a get out of jail card free. Get out of jail free card. That's what I'm trying to say. You paying basically exactly what PSG paid for, right? They bought him for what, 60 million, around that? We're paying him for about 51. If we pay close to what PSG paid for a guy that they're desperate to get rid of, they even added Joao Neves in this window, so there's even less space for him to play there. It's like a get out of jail free card, bro, honestly. And that's not to say Ugarte is a bad player and that United are signing a bum. Ugarte is a good player. Ugarte is a good DM. He's shown for Uruguay. He's shown for Sporting. He has his qualities. He's tenacious. He's a ball winner. He likes to cover ground. He likes to get stuck in. Good short passer for the most part. 6 foot. He isn't the tallest, isn't the shortest. He's a good player. I'm not saying Ugarte is a scrub. He could improve a lot of teams. But I'm looking at Man United and the position that he's set to take up. Probably going to be the replacement for Casemiro. And if you guys watch my match reactions, if you guys know my opinions on Man United, I have a massive issue on how they're able to control games, specifically through midfield. And in Manuel Ugarte, I'm seeing a lot of people get excited about the signing. And I'm not saying don't get excited. I'm not trying to be the downer that rains on everyone's parade this year. This is the first signing, I'm saying this from INEOS, I don't see how this really improves us. I'm happy to be proven wrong. But looking at this as objectively as I can, I don't see how Ugarte change his life for Man United. Not this iteration of the team. Like, we're struggling right now to keep opposition at bay with Casemiro, Bruno, and Kobbie Mainoo. And our biggest question marks of Casemiro is his discipline on the ball, how good he is in terms of like really having a high completion in terms of possession. For DM, it's pretty poor. His mobility, we're questioning that as well too. And then Ugarte, again, has his qualities, no doubt about it. Every player has their strengths, has their weaknesses. But I don't think his weaknesses and his strengths are that dissimilar to Casemiro. If anything, I feel like we're signing a younger Casemiro without actually the qualities that he does possess. Like, Casemiro at his best is a better player than Ugarte. That's the way I view it. And as much as I think Casemiro has declined in the last few years, let's also not get it twisted. Casemiro is not helped by the system United want to play. The amount of ground he's asked to cover is tough for almost every single midfielder, let alone one on the physical decline of Casemiro. We're going to put Ugarte in that same situation, and yes, he's a bit more fit than Casemiro. But again, I'm happy to be proven wrong here, and only time will be able to tell. But I foresee a lot of the same issues that we have with Casemiro by signing Ugarte. And the thing as well too, right? I think the fee for 51 million, I don't think is worth it. But that's even besides the point. It's not my money. But loan with an obligation to buy, I think would actually probably be even worse. Unless it's like, oh, he has to play 25 games. And if you can clearly tell from the first 10 games he's not it, then you stop playing him after 24. But if it's one of those obligations that like if he plays 10 games, you have to buy him for 51 million, that's crazy. Because bro, Ugarte is the kind of DM that Ten Hag wants. We've already talked about his system not really wanting or not really demanding a first phase ball dominant kind of midfielder. You can clearly tell he wants a mobile destroyer in that role. But that's assuming Ten Hag is here for the next 2-3 years. Okay, then you really invest in him and give him this Ugarte guy. But if Ten Hag is to be sacked at the end of the season, and we bring in a new coach, and then on that coach, we're throwing in this obligation of Ugarte that we signed 12 months ago, and now he has to feature in this new coach's plans. I don't know if that's the greatest idea, to be honest with you, bro. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the signing. If we buy him now, he'll still be 51 million. I get that, bro. But like, that reassures me a little more that it's like, okay, it's for Ten Hag right now. But an obligation to buy is almost like, okay, we're going to see if he works or not. And if he doesn't work, that means we still have to buy him. I get, at the end of the day, you're still spending 51 million. But the second one almost scares me even a bit more, to be honest with you, bro. Not to sound like a wise ass, but Ugarte fits the counter-pressing system, and that's precisely the issue of the signing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. I get where Ugarte fits for this kind of system that Ten Hag wants to play. But this is why I go back to yesterday. It's not a personnel issue. It's a systemic issue. I don't know if this is the right kind of profile we should be going for. Clearly, Ten Hag does, and he's the manager, and INEOS have to back him. But I foresee a lot of the same issues that we have now. I don't really see how Ugarte fixes a lot of them, to be honest with you. We'll see. Again, I'm not saying he's a bad player. Ugarte is a good player, man. But I don't know if he's exactly what we need. However, I'll welcome him in. I'll support him. I hope he improves the team. I hope I'm absolutely wrong here. But yeah, for me, not a needle mover, in my opinion. I've really liked the business INEOS have done. Mazraoui, I think it's a great deal, honestly. Can play on either side, technically sound, intelligent player. I like Mazraoui. De Ligt, I'm seeing a lot of people like question the move now because of the mistake that he made over the weekend. I still like the signing. Xerxes, I like that signing. Euro, when he comes back, I love that signing. This one, look, I don't have to blindly back everything that my club does, right? Let's get that very clear. This is the one I'm looking at INEOS. I'm saying, okay, I got to be convinced here. How many midfielders do United need in your opinion? 2 or 3. 2 or 3. And that's the thing too, right? If Ugarte comes with another profile, with like another midfielder, we signed 2 this summer, that for me eases a lot of my concerns. But if Ugarte is the only midfielder that we're bringing to the club, I don't think we're moving the needle much with that, bro. Who would your ideal signings be for midfield? It's tough, man. But I can tell you the kind of profile I'd want. I'd want somebody who's, again, happy to get a lot of touches on the ball. Happy to keep the ball. Very, I don't know, like clean in terms of like how he keeps possession. He doesn't treat the ball like a bomb. Those are the kinds of midfielders we need more of, bro. We need more players at Man United who are careful with the ball. We have enough guys who like playing quick. We have enough guys who like running in behind. We have enough guys who like playing the Hollywood pass. We need more people who are technically sound on the ball, who take care of the ball. That's what, in my opinion, what we need.